Button whole time.
All right, this is my rebuilt transmission from Patriot Transmissions in Ocala, Florida, and this is why you should not buy from these guys. This transmission has less than 500 miles on it, and we had to pull it back out. Well, we'll show you the rust on the output.
In just a minute.
Input here in a minute.
And you need to show the fact that you ordered a non-lockup, and it's a lockup $350.
Yeah, and I specified a non-lockup transmission. They sent me a lockup type, and what they did we'll show in a minute. And this is my first YouTube video, and this is the first time I've ever turned this camera on, and I'm sure you'll be able to tell that shortly. Okay. The non-lockup type, what they did was cut the plug.
I'm just trying to see if I can see the rust back on it.
And there's
right down in here.
Rust on the input shaft or pump shaft. And they did put a new pump in the transmission.
Got more implant than I'd like. $500 miles on the tranny. The pan should not look like that.
We have goop in the pan.
And metal shavings.
And metal shavings.
Yep. Alrighty then. Before I pull that pump, you can go ahead and show them the non-lockup, what it's supposed to be, and how they did what they did.
To get the non-lockup transmission, they cut wires to this little thing right here.
And took the lockup solenoid out and plugged it.
They took the lockup solenoid out and plugged it. What's that filter look like? And there's metal shavings on the filter. You can get a better look at the wires they cut on this servo.
Okay. Let's have some fun with the front half before I tear the rest of this apart. Well, that's not good.
What do we have?
You see right here where the sealing ring goes? If that sealing ring was lined up right there, and that's where fluid has been actually cutting on that, and that actually could be your problem. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper, but I don't like seeing that. I do not like seeing that.
Again, this transmission had less than 500 miles on it. It stopped engaging when you put it in gear.
You got new clutches. They look pretty good. 500 miles, I would expect that. Those pressure plates look good. Now there's an easier way to do this if I would take the valve body off, but we're wanting to get down in there in a timely manner, so if I can get that band to come off, and usually they will, but this one may not want to, so we're going to have to tear it off. No biggie though.
Should also say the trouble with this transmission started on day one. When we put it in and Will started putting transmission fluid in, it started coming out the side. They failed to put a shifter shaft seal in it. After about 2 weeks of driving, I had my first instance where it wouldn't engage when you put it in gear. I put it back in park, pulled it back down into drive, and it went. So I drove on. It did it again a week or two later. I talked to my mechanic. He said it might be a stuck ball in the valve body. And I drove a couple more weeks, and then it got bad. It would not engage. So I brought it to him to just rebuild the valve body. When he initially took the pan down, 2 of the valve body bolts were laying in the pan, along with all those metal shavings and all that goop.
Yay.
How does that look?
It's got a lot of wire. You should replace this when you build it. Not good. Not good, not good, not good. Heavy duty band in it. new clutches there so far. But here's what I want to know. They have not replaced the sprag. See the rust on the drum? Right here. And plus this sprag has not been replaced. This is not a new sprag.
So we've got the drum looks pretty bad rusted. Yeah, that's not good.
Always, every one I build, I change these sprags. So with that being said, I'm going to pull that out and see if they replace the seals on the piston. These little clips are a booger to get out most of the time. The rust right there.
Yeah, I'm not.
Can you not get a pick of it?
Yeah, this flashlight's too bright.
Is that helping any at all?
Yeah. Yeah. Got rusted parts all in this transmission.
Well, it does appear in this drum to have new sealing rings in the piston, so they did tear that apart.
So we got new clutches and new seals, but they put them on rusty parts.
It's got new seals in that drum. But that is not a new sprag. So, let's continue on. Let me get over here and get my... Let's tire this one down and see what it looks like. Those are not new steels. Those are used steels. Let's pull this apart and check the piston in it. It's got new rubbers on it. So it does have new rubbers on it. That I don't like. If this had not have done that, the main shaft would have stripped out in it. This has been slipping on the drum.
I'm not a transmission expert, but I can see that.
This is pressed in. And this should have been caught when it was being built.
Let me see if I can get a close-up of this.
Upon inspection of building this, that should have been caught.
Some of the teeth are engaged, but some of them aren't. And it's been pressed together, but it was pressed together off. You can, I don't know if you can tell that on this video
right here,
or not.
This has been slipped before. This is not recent. You see this? This is where it has slipped inside the drum. That should have been caught when that was put together. And look at the trash that has not been cleaned out of the drum. That is from previous wear that has not been cleaned out.
This is just unreal. You can see the trash laying in the drum there. I think I can get a better shot of this now. Using the telephoto, you can see how the teeth are not lined up. If it'll focus. Trying to get several different shots here. Maybe one of them will come out good, but you can tell that's not good. If you know how a zipper fits together, that's not it. And let's see, hold your light back. You can see the trash that was never cleaned from this thing before they even rebuilt it. All right.
I would not have used that. Now let's get down deeper. They have drove a new bushing in here to plant it. Right down little clips. Hold your hand down there, Steve. Hold it there. Hold this side. That is not a new planet. The wheels are not loose on it, but this is an old Planet. This has not been changed. This is not a new shell.
Jeez.
And has wire in it.
So the shells wore out.
Yep. Okay, before we go any further here. No new O-ring, just siliconed for the governor shell cover. But it does have a new governor gear that has been installed on an old governor. You can see the wire. Get it in the light.
What are we looking for?
See the wire on the shaft?
Oh yeah, I can. I don't. Yeah, it'll show up.
All they've done is stuck a new governor gear on the end of an old governor. This governor is wore. If that was me building this transmission, I would replace this governor. I would not run it. Yeah, wait a minute, Steve. I'm going to get right there at the box. If you don't care, sir.
This is a Chevrolet TH350.
Lockup.
Lockup type that has been made into a non-lockup.
That is not good neither. You can see the crud right here in the case.
Trash all in the case. Now, in all fairness, he did say he built transmissions for mud trucks. Maybe he meant he built them in the mud.
That's from a wire on the input shaft. Yet again, new clutches, no new steels. Rear planet that is used, that is not new, that has just been rebushioned and has a loose roller in it. Which, yet again, another thing indicating to me that if it had not have lasted as long as it had, it would have eventually come apart here. This would have been the first thing to hand grenade in it. And another used sprag that has not been changed for the rear. It is still holding, but it has not been replaced.
How can you tell? Oh, we have wear lines. These lines indicate wear. This is a used part.
This is not a new sprag. Well, if I had to have an educated guess on to what is going wrong with it and why it is doing what it is doing, it would be the pump. Where we found that, where it had been. Let me find it back here again. It's on that one cylinder right there. Okay. Fluid is bypassing the cylinder ring for the forward drum.
What caused that gash right there?
Well, it could have been just a dent or a chip in it, but what it's done now, the fluid has actually cut it where it is bypassing by. And it could have been, if he bought the type of pump he buys, when I buy mine, they're all fully assembled, my pumps. But they do make them where you can buy the housings and the pump gear and you have to reuse the stator. If this stator was in the original transmission, which it does have wire right here, you can see, it could have already had a bad cylinder ring and had started cutting on it. And they put new cylinder rings, and all it had to do was that gap line up, and the fluid can bypass right there and continue cutting.
So basically, we've got some new parts put together with a bunch of used parts and some rusted parts that didn't make for too fine of a transmission. I am not happy with this. I spent $985 for this transmission because they said that they claim that they build for hot rods and classic cars and mud trucks. And after talking to them, it was going to cost me roughly $700 to get a replacement transmission. This is their warranty. That would be my cost to ship it down there or drive it down there. My mechanic's cost for pulling it out the second time and reinstalling the new transmission. But you know, you pay $1,000 for a transmission, you figure it's gonna last for a little longer than 300 miles. So I will never do business with these guys again, and hope this video will help some of you decide if you're thinking about purchasing a transmission. Go to a reputable shop.